If you're buying an SUV this year, there's one thing you need to hear. Not all new cars are built to last anymore. Some of the most popular SUVs of 2025 look amazing on the lot, but spend more time at the repair shop than on the road. And Consumer Reports' new data proves it. So, before you sign anything, let's go through the SUVs real owners are warning you to avoid, because this list could literally save you thousands. Number 1. Mazda CX-70 and CX-90 PHEV. Mazda spent years building trust with drivers, known for sporty, dependable cars like the CX-5. Then came the CX-70 and CX-90 plug-in hybrids. On launch, they were hyped as Mazda's luxury leap forward: smooth hybrid performance, premium interiors, and great mileage. But the reality? The debut didn't go as planned. Owners started reporting constant check engine lights, charging faults, and sudden loss of power. Some even described their brand new CX-90s as undrivable until reset. Not the phrase you want to hear after spending $50,000. Consumer Reports gave both models a brutal reliability score, just 15 out of 100, making them some of the worst performing plug-in SUVs of the year. And that hurts because Mazda fans expected more. The infotainment screens froze, software crashed mid-drive, and driver assist systems flickered on and off like Christmas lights. Even the hybrid tech, Mazda's big selling point, ended up being its biggest weak spot. To make it worse, both SUVs were hit with early recalls tied to software calibration and drivetrain issues. For a company that built its brand on fun to drive and built to last, this one was a rough wake-up call. And if you think that sounds bad, the next SUV proves that even Jeep's smallest model still hasn't learned from its past mistakes. Number 2. Jeep Compass. The Compass looks like everything a buyer could want in a compact SUV: sharp styling, off-road DNA, and that iconic 7-slot grille. But pop the hood, and it's been the same story for almost a decade. A pretty face hiding some very expensive flaws. The 2025 Compass still rides on the same platform launched back in 2017. 8 years old, only mildly updated. And the problems are just as familiar. Oil consumption issues, jerky gear shifts, and suspension fatigue that shows up way too early. Consumer Reports gave it a 33 out of 100 reliability score, keeping it near the bottom of its class year after year. Owners complain about the Uconnect system freezing mid-drive, power drops in hot weather, and warning lights that turn on for no reason. One owner said, "My Compass burns through oil like it's gasoline." That sums it up. Jeep's had almost a decade to fix this, and yet here we are in 2025 with the same core issues. If you're tempted by the badge, think twice, because the Compass isn't leading anyone north. It's leading straight to the repair shop. Now let's move from small SUVs to something bigger, and surprisingly, even less dependable. Number 3. Volkswagen Atlas. The Volkswagen Atlas promises European comfort and space. But under that clean design is a growing list of complaints that make it one of 2025's biggest reliability disappointments. VW dropped the V6 and replaced it with a 2.0-liter Turbo 4. Sounds efficient, right? Except owners say it's laggy, hesitant, and rough shifting, especially in stop-and-go traffic. Then there's the electrical nightmare. Infotainment screens freeze, safety features malfunction, and random warning lights flash even when nothing's wrong. One Atlas owner joked online, "My car thinks it's haunted. New lights every week." Consumer Reports gave a 24 out of 100, putting it deep in the red zone for reliability. And at nearly $40,000 starting price, that's unacceptable. VW wanted to build a family hauler that felt premium. Instead, they built an SUV that's big on space and bigger on service bills. But if you think that's bad, wait till you hear about a hybrid that promised the world and gave its owners a migraine. If this helps you dodge a bad purchase, hit that subscribe button. Not because I said so, but because it'll save you from dropping 40 grand on a headache. Number 4. Ford Escape Hybrid. Ford's Escape Hybrid should have been a hit. Hybrid power, solid MPG, and a trusted badge. Instead, it's become a case study in how not to design hybrid reliability. Owners have reported rough transitions between gas and electric, random power loss, and battery malfunctions that leave the SUV limping home. Even the high-tech safety features act up, with lane keeping assist and adaptive cruise control cutting out mid-drive. And Ford's latest infotainment system? Freezes, blackouts, and glitching menus are the norm. Add in cheap interior plastics, early rattles, and wear that shows up within months, and you're left wondering where all that R&D budget went. With a 21 out of 100 reliability score, it ranks as the least dependable hybrid SUV of 2025, according to Consumer Reports. Number 5. Jeep Wrangler. You don't have to be a car guy to know the Wrangler. It's a symbol of freedom, mud, and rugged adventure. But in 2025, it's also a symbol of never-ending mechanical problems. Owners report steering that wanders, suspensions that wear out early, and infotainment systems that act up more than they work. Even the plug-in hybrid Wrangler 4xe has seen charging issues and random warning lights. One owner summed it up perfectly. Love the Jeep image, hate the constant dealer visits. With a 27 out of 100 reliability rating, the Wrangler continues to test the patience and the wallets of Jeep loyalists. The biggest issue? Steering components and electronics that don't hold up under normal use, let alone off-roading. Jeep sells the lifestyle. But unless you enjoy spending weekends at the service bay, it's a tough lifestyle to maintain. And if you think Wrangler owners have it rough, the next SUV proves that even bigger price tags don't buy better reliability. Number 6. Jeep Grand Cherokee. Here's the crown jewel of Jeep's SUV lineup, or at least it used to be. The Grand Cherokee promised comfort, capability, and cutting-edge tech. Instead, it's topping the wrong kind of list. The 2025 Grand Cherokee earned a 12 out of 100 reliability score, the worst of any SUV this year. Owners report charging faults, random stalling, powertrain failures, and electrical gremlins that just won't quit. Even the gas versions have their issues: transmission hesitation, sensor malfunctions, and infotainment failures galore. One owner called it a luxury SUV with the reliability of a printer. And it's not alone. Another American SUV aimed for innovation but crashed headfirst into frustration. Number 7. Dodge Hornet. The Dodge Hornet looks like a compact powerhouse, aggressive styling, hybrid tech, and Dodge's promise of muscle in a small package. But peel back the badge, and it's really an Alfa Romeo Tonale in disguise. And that's where the trouble begins. Owners have reported software bugs, infotainment freezes, power loss, and brake defects that triggered mass recalls. Dealers can't move them. Some lots report 200-plus days of unsold Hornets just sitting around. Consumer Reports gave it a 30 out of 100, placing it squarely in the avoid if you can category. Even the build quality feels below Dodge's standards, with cheap materials and rattles showing up within months. It's the kind of SUV that looks good parked, just not so much when it's in motion. And speaking of compact SUVs that miss the mark, the next one manages to do even less, for more money. Number 8. Volkswagen Taos. If you thought Volkswagen learned from its Atlas issues, the Taos says otherwise. The 2025 version still suffers from weak power delivery, slow throttle response, and an 8-speed transmission that can't decide which gear it wants. Drivers complain about low-speed lurching, electrical glitches, and a cabin that feels more budget than German. Even with a new transmission update, the Taos remains one of the least dependable subcompacts, scoring 24 out of 100. Owners mention infotainment bugs, warning lights, and cheap plastics that start rattling almost immediately. It's small, pricey for what it offers, and simply doesn't hold up. Volkswagen aimed for affordable premium. What they delivered feels more like expensive disappointment. Next up, another American icon that looks strong on the outside but falters where it matters most. Number 9. Chevrolet Blazer. The Blazer returned in 2019 with bold styling, strong engines, and a ton of hype. But 5 years later, the excitement has turned into frustration. The engine stalls randomly, fuel sensors fail, and ECU glitches cause unpredictable power loss. Then there's the transmission. Harsh shifting and premature wear show up within the first 50,000 miles. Consumer Reports scored it a 32 out of 100, calling it one of the least reliable midsize SUVs this year. Even GM techs admit that bad turbos and ECU faults have become all too common. So while the Blazer might turn heads in the lot, it might also turn your mood south once the warranty runs out. And before we wrap up, let's talk about a surprise edition, a model that's not the worst yet, but trending dangerously close. Number 10. Nissan Rogue. The Rogue doesn't look like trouble. In fact, it's one of the best-selling SUVs in America. But beneath the surface, cracks are starting to show. Recent owner reports highlight transmission shudder, CVT whining, and infotainment malfunctions. The 2025 refresh helped with features, but not reliability. It hasn't fallen to Jeep levels yet, but if Nissan doesn't fix these CVT issues, it's heading that way fast. That's why we're giving it an early mention. Not the worst yet, but worth watching closely. Not every SUV that looks good deserves your trust. Some of these vehicles carry price tags that suggest reliability, but data says otherwise. Before you buy, always check owner reports, consumer reports, reliability scores, and recall history. Because once that check engine light comes on, it doesn't matter how nice the badge looks. And remember, the most expensive SUV is the one that never stops costing you money.